Hey, yokel, your damn cousin isn't here. Go get me a coffee.
What?
Get me a fucking coffee! Come on, I'll get you one.
Niko Bellic, the central character of Rockstar North's Grand Theft Auto 4, is a complex figure with a deeply troubled past. His story, spanning several decades and continents, is a tale of survival, betrayal, and the search for redemption in a world rife with crime and corruption. And in today's video, we are going to explore his entire life story in detail. Before we share the insights of today's topic, please do us a good deed by liking and subscribing. It greatly helps us. Thank you. Let's begin.
The war finished. I couldn't get a job. Nobody could. So I did some dumb things, got involved with some idiots.
Niko's life before the game, explored. In the shadowed corners of Eastern Europe, under a sky heavy with the echoes of war, Niko Bellic was born to Niko Bellic and a father whose name time has forgotten. Malika, a beacon of maternal warmth in the cold, harsh world Niko grew up in, often lamented the cruel fate that her sons had to endure. Their father, lost in the depths of alcoholism and abuse, cast a long, dark shadow over their childhood. As the years passed, Niko, still a teenager, found himself engulfed in the maelstrom of an unnamed war. He served not just as an infantryman, but also as a tank driver and a helicopter pilot, roles that exposed him to the unspeakable horrors of conflict. These experiences etched deep scars into his soul, shaping his view of life into one of cynicism and distrust. Whispers and rumors followed him, suggesting he might have committed war crimes, a burden that Niko carried in silence. The most harrowing moment came when his unit, 15 men from his village, fell into an ambush. Niko, surviving against all odds, emerged with a haunting suspicion. They were betrayed from within. Among the survivors were two names he would not forget, Florian Kravik and Darko Brevic. A vow was made then, a vow to uncover the traitor. The war's end brought no peace to Niko. His brother, a fellow soldier, fell in battle, leaving Niko adrift in a world that knew only violence. He found a semblance of belonging in the shadows of the Balkanic criminal underworld. It was there that he crossed paths with Ray Bulgarin, a notorious Russian crime lord. Under Bulgarin's command, Niko delved into the murky waters of smuggling and trafficking. But fate, ever fickle, struck a cruel blow during a smuggling operation to Italy. The boat he was on capsized in the turbulent Adriatic Sea. Though Niko managed to swim to safety, Bulgarin's accusations were swift and unforgiving. He claimed Niko had sunk the ship to steal the money. With danger looming, Niko found refuge in the merchant navy, a decision that steered his life towards new horizons. Aboard the Platypus cargo ship, he forged bonds with the crew, bonds that would become his new anchor. During this time, he often pondered over the letters from his cousin Roman, who spoke of a land of opportunity, Liberty City in the United States. Roman's tales of wealth and success whispered promises of a fresh start, a chance to escape the shadows of his past. And so, with hope as his compass, Niko Bellic set his sights on Liberty City, unaware of the trials and tribulations that awaited him in this new world.
Oh yeah! There she is! Liberty City!
Yeah.
You ever been?
Niko's journey in Liberty City begins. 2008, Liberty City, a place where dreams and reality collide, often with brutal consequences. Niko Bellic, stepping off the boat with visions of prosperity, soon discovered the bitter truth behind his cousin Roman's tales of grandeur. The reality was starkly different. Roman lived in a small, dilapidated apartment in the broker district, his life weighed down by gambling debts and the struggles of his failing taxi service. The American dream, it seemed, was not as easily attainable as he had been led to believe. In this new world, Niko's role extended beyond that of a mere cousin. He became Roman's protector, a shield against the relentless tide of loan sharks threatening to engulf them. He also found himself working for Vlad Glebov, a Russian gangster, doing whatever it took to keep Roman from drowning in debt. Despite the moral quandaries, Niko's military prowess made him adept at navigating the treacherous streets of Liberty City. He completed his tasks with a cold efficiency, his skills honed on the battlefield now serving him in the concrete jungle. As Niko delved deeper into the city's underworld, he began to forge connections that would prove invaluable. Figures like Little Jacob, the Yardy underboss, and Brucey Kibitz, the flamboyant car entrepreneur, became not just contacts, but crucial allies in his quest for survival. These relationships, both professional and personal, expanded his influence and introduced him to the city's more powerful and influential criminals. But the path Niko walked was fraught with danger and betrayal. His actions against Vlad, taken in revenge for an affair with Roman's girlfriend Mallory, set off a chain of events that would further entangle him in the city's criminal web. He and Roman were kidnapped by mobsters under the command of Mikhail Faustin, a name that would become synonymous with treachery in Niko's story. Faustin, unbothered by Vlad's demise, saw potential in Niko and employed him as a hitman. Niko's journey into Faustin's world was a descent into moral ambiguity. Tasked with assassinating the son of Kenny Petrovich, a powerful Russian crime lord, Niko found himself at a crossroads. Petrovich's threats of retaliation led Faustin's deputy, Dmitry Raskolov, to persuade Niko to eliminate Faustin as a means of reparation. However, this act of loyalty was met with the ultimate betrayal. Dmitry, revealing his alliance with Ray Bulgarin, Niko's old nemesis, turned against him. Betrayed and cornered, Niko's survival instincts kicked in. With the help of little Jacob, he narrowly escaped an ambush, but the fallout was severe. Dmitry and Bulgarin retaliated by destroying Roman's apartment and taxi depot, stripping away the last vestiges of their already fragile stability. In the heart of Liberty City, Niko Bellic found himself caught in a web of crime, betrayal, and violence. Each decision, each alliance, each act of vengeance was a step on a path that blurred the lines between right and wrong. In this city, survival came at a cost, and Niko was paying the price with every breath he took.
Here we go! I have
The Bohan Invasion of Niko Bellic. In the gritty underbelly of Bohan, Niko Bellic found himself a stranger in a new part of the city, a place where he could lay low, away from the prying eyes that had followed him in Broker. Here, in this less glamorous district of Liberty City, Niko began weaving a new web of criminal contacts. His network expanded to include various drug dealers and members of the Irish mob, a necessary alliance in his relentless pursuit of a better life, and the elusive Florian, who he knew was somewhere in the city. It was in these shadowy dealings that Niko crossed paths with Patrick McCreary, an Irish gangster whose friendship would become a pivotal part of his journey. But not all connections were what they seemed. Niko's world was rocked when he discovered that his girlfriend, Michelle, was in fact an undercover government agent named Karen. She ensnared him into working for her agency, the United Liberty Paper, ULP, a front that concealed its true nature. In a twisted bargain, Niko found himself eliminating known or suspected terrorists for the agency, a dark path that promised to clear his criminal record and aid in his quest to find the traitor of his unit. As the threads of his life in Liberty City tangled further, Niko assisted Ray Bocchino, a capo regime in the Pegorino crime family, with a crucial diamond deal. This endeavor led him to Florian, now living as Bernie Crane, a revelation that upended Niko's assumptions. Florian was not the traitor he had been hunting. The real betrayer was Darko, and the hunt shifted focus once more. Amidst these revelations, Niko's entanglement with the Italian mafia deepened. He worked for the Pegorino and Gambetti families, navigating a world of betrayal and power struggles. His involvement in a trade for Don Giovanni Ancelotti's kidnapped daughter brought him face-to-face with Bulgarin once again, a confrontation that ended in the loss of the coveted diamonds. The conflict with Dmitry, a specter from his past, intensified. Niko's loyalty to his cousin Roman was put to the test as he rescued him from Dmitry's clutches, disrupted his drug operations, and foiled his plot against Liberty City's deputy mayor. Through these trials, Niko and Roman finally began to carve out the life they had dreamed of. Roman rebuilt his taxi company and acquired a new apartment in Algonquin, a symbol of their hard-earned success. But the past has a way of catching up, and for Niko, it came in the form of Darko, brought to Liberty City by the ULP. Confronted with the man who had betrayed his unit, Niko faced a choice that would define his path forward. Closure was within reach, but at what cost? Niko was summoned by Don Jimmy Pegorino for one last favor, a lucrative heroin deal, a task that would once again entangle him with Dmitry. Standing at the crossroads of revenge and compromise, Niko was left to weigh the consequences of his choices. Would he seek retribution against Dmitry, or would he tread the perilous path of the deal? In the heart of Liberty City, under the shadow of his past and the glimmer of a future he had fought so hard for, Niko Bellic stood at the precipice of his destiny.
Hey! Wake up, you fucking junkie!
I'm awake. I was just wishing you'd leave.
The underbelly of Liberty City versus Niko Bellic. In a twist of fate that seemed almost inevitable in the violent nature of Liberty City, Niko's path led him to a final bloody confrontation. Choosing to exact revenge on Dimitri, Niko successfully eliminated him and his men, but this act of vengeance came at a terrible cost. Don Jimmy Pegorino, driven by rage over the loss of substantial profits, sought retribution in a most heinous way. At Roman and Mallory's wedding, a day that should have been filled with joy, Pegorino's drive-by attack aimed at Niko tragically claimed the life of Kate, Patrick McReary's sister, who had become dear to Niko's heart. The loss of Kate plunged Niko into a dark abyss, but with the unwavering support of little Jacob and Roman, he embarked on a relentless hunt for Pegorino. The city's underworld had turned against Pegorino, marking him for death. In a final showdown, Niko avenged Katie's death, bringing an end to Pegorino's reign of terror. However, another path lay before Niko, one where he chose to work with Dimitri once more. This decision, fraught with betrayal, saw Dimitri keeping the heroine for himself and sending a hitman to Niko's cousin's wedding. The assassin's bullet, meant for Niko, struck Roman instead, snuffing out his life in an instant. Overcome with grief and rage, Niko, aided by little Jacob, tracked down Dimitri, who had also murdered Pegorino in his own quest for power. In a final act of vengeance, Niko ended Dimitri's life, closing a chapter filled with betrayal and loss. In the aftermath of these tumultuous events, Niko faced a new beginning. Depending on the path he had chosen, he learned of Mallory's pregnancy. In one reality, he vowed to protect the child, ready to become a father figure, a beacon of hope in a life marred by violence. In another, Roman informed him that if the child was a girl, she would be named Kate, in memory of the woman Niko had lost. As Niko Bellic stood amidst the ruins of his journey, he reflected on the elusive nature of the American dream. It was a dream that had lured him to Liberty City, a promise of a better life that had led him down a path of violence, betrayal, and heartache. In the end, Niko realized that the American dream was a hollow promise, an unattainable ideal in a world where survival often meant sacrificing one's soul. His story, a poignant testament to the human condition, ended not with triumph, but with a somber understanding of the harsh realities of life.
I'm going to catch Dimitri and end this for good!
Is this the last of Niko Bellic we see? Years after the tumultuous events in Liberty City, the shadow of Niko Bellic lingered in the world of Grand Theft Auto. In the sun-soaked streets of Los Santos in Grand Theft Auto 5, 2013, his name was whispered like a ghost story, a legend from a bygone era. Lester Crest, the mastermind behind a jewelry store heist, mused about an Eastern European guy making moves in Liberty City while planning the caper with Michael DeSanta. But Lester quickly dismissed the idea, noting that Niko had gone quiet, a phrase heavy with unspoken tales. Niko's legacy continued to echo through the lives he had touched. Patrick McReary, a remnant of Niko's past life, reminisced about a bank heist they had pulled off together in Liberty City. The heist, a daring escapade that also involved Patrick's brother Derek and Michael Keane, was tinged with tragedy. Derek and Michael were no longer among the living, and Patrick mused that Niko too might have met a similar fate, having not heard from him in 5 years. Yet, in a curious twist, an Easter egg within the game hinted at a different reality. Players could stumble upon Niko's Life Invader profile, revealing that he was still working for Roman's taxi company. A recent message from Niko wishing Roman a happy birthday suggested that, against all odds, Roman had survived the chaos that once engulfed their lives. Niko's presence extended beyond the narrative of GTA 5. In the collector's edition of Grand Theft Auto Online, players were given the unique opportunity to weave a part of Niko's legacy into their own stories. He was listed as one of the special parents players could choose from, allowing them to create a character bearing a resemblance to the enigmatic Eastern European. Furthermore, Niko played a minor yet significant role in the expansion packs of Grand Theft Auto 4, The Lost and Damned, and The Ballad of Gay Tony. These narratives, unfolding alongside the events of the base game, offered glimpses of Niko from the perspectives of other characters, each with their own stories intertwined with the legend of Niko Bellic. In these subtle references and fleeting appearances, the saga of Niko Bellic continued to resonate in the Grand Theft Auto universe. His story, a complex web of betrayal, survival, and the elusive American dream, remained a poignant reminder of the indelible mark one man left on the criminal landscape of Liberty City. a mark that would be remembered for years to come.
Down!
Why Niko is the best GTA protagonist? As a fan of the Grand Theft Auto series, I've always found Niko Bellic from GTA 4 to be the most compelling protagonist in the franchise. What sets Niko apart for me is his incredibly well-developed character. Throughout the game, I watched him evolve, grappling with moral dilemmas and adapting to the harsh realities of Liberty City. This made him feel more real and relatable. He's not just a flat character, he's multidimensional, shaped by a troubled past that includes his time in the Yugoslav wars. This complexity is further brought to life by Michael Hollick's outstanding voice acting, which adds depth and believability to Niko's character. Niko's memorable one-liners and catchphrases also stand out. They're not just entertaining, they reflect his inner thoughts and feelings, adding layers to his personality.
I come here, and the only thing big about your life is the cockroaches.
That's right. I got the base cockroaches, I got the base...
And then there's the realism. Niko's struggles with poverty, crime, and betrayal mirror real-life issues, making his story resonate with me on a deeper level. His background as an immigrant fighting in a war-torn country adds to this realism, making his journey in Liberty City all the more poignant. All these elements combine to make Niko Bellic not just a character in a game, but a representation of struggle, resilience, and the complexity of human nature. This is the end of today's video, friends. If you liked what we showed in this video, don't hesitate to like and subscribe. See you next time.
Welcome to America. Speak English.